Welcome in, welcome in. We're going to start up in a few minutes. I just want to make sure everything is working the way it needs to. We're going to two different places on Facebook, so I want to make sure that it's working. But come on in, say hi, all those things, and let me make sure that I get the comments up. And it should be letting you know soon that I am here. Yep, it's there, and YouTube is working too. So we're good. So hopefully everybody's amazing. And if not, I have a little bit of amazing here. So let's do this. This topic is an interesting one. It's one I know very well. So we're just going to get into it. And we're going to give you about maybe 2 minutes, and then we're going to get started. Because I don't want to waste your time. We'll start the official podcast cutoff point in 2 minutes, and then we'll get this thing going. But I just want to make sure that it is propagated everywhere that it needs to go, so that we have everyone here to watch. And if you're watching on the replay, how you doing? So give me like another minute. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing going. And then I'll repeat when I go live, but this will be on all of the audio podcasting platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but we'll talk about that later. So just sit tight and we're going to get started literally in 1 minute. All right, we're about to get this thing going. Oh, I didn't know that it did that. Cool. All right, so we're going to get this thing going. So I'm going to try something different this time. So hold on 1 second. Let me see. We're going to try something different this time. Welcome in, Tanya. I want to try to do... Yeah, so let's do this real quick. So I'm going to do the intro song, and then on the other end of it, we'll start the official podcast. So stand by. It'll be about 30 seconds, and then we'll get started. So see you on the other side. Let's go.
Sit down and heal with Coach Derek. Feel the love that you'll inherit. Find the strength and let it show. Time to grow, let your heart glow.
And welcome to another episode of the I was about to say my old brand, the Sit Down and Heal podcast with Coach Derek. My name is Coach Derek, and I am your host. I'm a certified healing journey coach and relationship coach, which means I help you do both. I help you heal first, and then we bridge you over to healthier relationships. And I am the person that once you get coaching by me, that is my goal to send you back outside wrapped more in healing than in trauma. I probably need to get a blanket that say healing on it, so we can literally wrap ourselves in healing. Yes, they do say my jokes don't land, but I always try, y'all. So this topic tonight, welcome in. And if you did not know, we are live every single Tuesday on YouTube and Facebook. So make sure you go to sitdownandheal.com and connect to all of the social media that I have, and you will not be disappointed. So this show also goes out on all major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, anywhere you get podcasts, I'm there. So make sure you show up there. We primarily go through YouTube, so make sure you subscribe there so I can get my subscribers up, because we're working on that. So let's get into the show. Tonight we are talking about, in the title, it's kind of long, but it's effective, the surveillance of love. And we'll talk about this in a second. Like, what does that mean? When does emotional monitoring become control? So this emotional monitoring term is the term is kind of new when I heard it, but when I read what it was, I was like, yeah, I know this one, right? So I'm going to read a definition that I pulled up because, we like to define the terms before we go in and get all mushy about it, right? So I'm going to emphasize certain words so that you guys know where we're going with this. Emotional monitoring is a hyper vigilant habit of consistently scanning others' emotions. I'm saying this slow for a reason. Consistently scanning others' emotions, often stemming from childhood trauma or unstable environments, to anticipate moods and prevent negative reactions, which exhaust the person that's monitoring and strains relationships by neglecting one's own needs and creating distance despite the intention to connect. It's different from empathy by being a subconscious controlling behavior focusing on managing external feelings rather than responding genuinely to another's situation, leading to burnout and a feeling of never being safe or truly known. So, I know that was a lot, right? But this is what it is more simply. It's something that may have, in most of our cases, happened in our childhood. So, when they said the words unstable environments, right? So we talk about childhood wounds here all the time. Unstable doesn't have to mean, so unstable could mean emotionally unstable, right? There's a lot of different ways it could be unstable, but it wasn't stable. So you are always in the search of stability, right? You know what? We don't need no more notes. Let's just go. We're going to go, y'all. So think about that. Lack of stability, but being hypersensitive to trying to recreate it in another space. Meaning a lot of times your romantic partner, but this could extrapolate out through family and friends, right? But I'm also a relationship coach, so we're gonna get busy there too, right? So listen, imagine a world where you had an unstable childhood. You might not even know your childhood was unstable. There's the finger. When I do the finger, that means some serious stuff about to happen. You may not even have known that your childhood was unstable, but the way that you can see it is to look at who you picked, where you stayed too long. You can see the instability even by the people we choose to be closest to, right? Even if we remember, it said subconscious. So that means you don't even know it's happening. But the behavior always tells the story, right? So now we got to go on a little journey. We got to go on a little journey. If I have instability in my childhood, I grow into an adult that is hyper vigilant about creating stability. But here is the plot twist. Here's the plot twist. Y'all ready? Emotions in humans tends to be unstable, right? We don't know how somebody's going to feel every day. Right? Happy, sad, pissed off, whatever. We don't know. So imagine you trying to force stability in a place that changes all the time. You know how tired you're going to be? Remember it said burnout. You know how tired you're going to be chasing that? So the title says, when does emotional monitoring become control? So now, because of your trauma, you got to control how somebody else feel. Why? Because if you control how they feel, you create the stability you didn't have as a child emotionally. So now we got to think about this. You've probably been like this in most of your relationships. You probably don't even realize that this is actually what it is. And if you do, you don't know that it comes from childhood. Because a lot of times people like this, they think their childhood was okay until you see what you do, until you see who you pick, until you start having to chase around and trying to manage other people's emotions instead of just allowing them to have the emotion and then you can react to it accordingly. You want to control it, right? And so when we talk about control, we think about a villain, right? We think about somebody that's manipulating it. We don't like these controlling people, right? Until you realize that someone that does this emotional monitoring is controlling as hell. They want to make the outcome be what they want it to be. And then the thing about it is, they don't even wait. And I'm saying they like I wasn't one of them. They don't even wait for the emotion to happen. They want to predict what will happen so that they can change it when it does. So they don't even have to worry about what they deem as negative feelings on them. They want to beat you to the punch. Y'all know there's a certain type of crazy you got to go through in your head mentally to predict what's going to happen every day. You know what kind of calculus problem that is? You don't really know what's going to happen. But your whole nervous system is going crazy because what if? What if they come home? Can I do this? Can we speed it up real quick? Y'all ready? Ready? Let's breathe. Ready? What if they come home and they get mad? What do I do when they get home? Oh my God, they're looking sad. Let me make sure that they're happy, because if they're sad, then I will feel sad too, because I'm also not just an emotional monitor, I'm an empath. So I'm soaking it in at the same time. I got to make them happy so I can be happy. So indirectly, I have to control the narrative and anticipate before they even know what I'm doing. They think they're having a happy evening, but I made that happen because I was able to anticipate it and fix it before they got there so that they don't have the emotion that's going to make me feel trauma from my childhood. Y'all like how I did that? It's a full-time job. Even when danger to you isn't even imminent, you're predicting the future with no evidence of what it's going to be. You know how big of a fear that has to be? The only way that you can feel calm and safe is that you run around trying to figure out what bad thing might happen, what bad mood might happen. Let me hurry up. Okay. I talked about this a lot over the years. You know, the cruel trick the universe plays on us is that once we figured out that we've mastered how to emotionally monitor our partner, then they move the goalposts. Then you got to chase something. Oh, damn, I missed that one. And you're going to have to keep chasing, keep trying to figure it out. The goalposts just keep moving. You think you caught the rabbit, and then it slip out your hand, and you be like, wait, that didn't work. And guess what happens when it don't work? You start feeling sad. You start feeling depressed because you didn't catch it. Now you got to feel. Pay attention to my words. Now you have to feel how that emotion affects you instead of you being in control. Listen to my words. Instead of you being in control. So again, let me reiterate. Someone like this, when they don't feel like they're in control, they panic, and their trauma response is to control another person to fit your narrative so you can feel safe. But your partner don't know that's why. Our partners will get pissed off that you're trying to micromanage my emotions. Can you please stop doing that? But you can't. Why? Because trauma. You ain't going to stop. You may change the motives of how you do it, But you're not stopping, because stopping means lack of control. And who doesn't want to be in control when you got all this trauma on your back? You want to relieve it. Think about it like this. Let's paint a picture. You paint a picture? What's it, this SpongeBob he used to do? Imagination. I know. It's okay. Sometimes my jokes land, but most of the time they don't. So think about this. This unstable childhood trauma that you don't know is there. Subconsciously, you've become an emotional monitor over your life, but you don't know what to call it. You don't know where it comes from. You just know that you feel better when you achieve the goal, right? So imagine the trauma is a backpack that you have on your back is real heavy. And you got to carry that thing around, and it's your back hurt. And then your partner comes in a little upset one day, and you're like, wait, honey, I already made it so that you don't have to be upset. Okay. And then the partner's like, okay. And then you feel like the bag got heavier. It was just the first time I got some relief. Partner goes to work. The backpack's starting to get heavy again. I wonder how they gonna feel when they come back. I hope they didn't. You call them at work. Everything okay at work? Is your boss bothering you today? No, baby, everything good. Feeling lighter now. I'm chasing those emotions. Let me know when you get home. I hope they not upset when they come home. I hope they go. Let me think about what they like. Oh, they like broccoli. I'm gonna make broccoli today because I want to make sure that you hear how I'm breathing. I gotta. Okay. All right. I can hear him coming up the steps. Baby, I made you broccoli. I don't feel like eating broccoli today. I want green beans. Okay. I don't know how we got no damn green beans. Are they gonna be upset? Did they make your brain hurt, don't it? You know that you're going to have to do this with everything. Not just one thing, everything. And your partner isn't evil. Your partner ain't abusing you. They're just existing. They're being themselves. A human. Angry, sad, happy. Let me give you a visual real quick. Hold on. So they had this thing online. Well, not online, but the therapists use these. It's called an emotions wheel, right? In some places they call it a feelings wheel, right? So what it does, right, visually, and for those of you that are like on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I'll visually describe it for you so you don't have to worry about looking at it. So I'm holding up this wheel, and in the center of the wheel are your base emotions like anger, happiness, sadness, right? But then it starts to get a little deeper because there are secondary emotions that lead into possibly why you felt the fear or why you felt the anger. And then there's a third level that goes even deeper to explain why the secondary emotion turns into the primary. So I'm doing this visual on purpose because your brain as the emotional monitor got to figure this out. Without any supporting information, you got to figure this out before it happens. That's a lot, right? But you won't inherently feel like it's a lot. Pay attention. Because when you do it, the trauma backpack feels lighter. So why stop? Because working on the trauma and working on being a better version of yourself, that's not on the plate. I have to do whatever is necessary to make that bag feel lighter. This is how trauma works, y'all. And I tell y'all this all the time. When you are responding to trauma, when you are triggered, it feels like life or death. You have to do it. You feel like you have to do it. In order for you to feel safe, it's like a bus is about to run you over. It doesn't know the difference, but it feels like it. Your heart starts racing because you don't know what to expect. From one floor in the house to the next, I hope they're happy. What could possibly be happening to alter their mood, and what can I do to fix it before it happens? You know what kind of psychic friend you got to be? You know, in the comments, absolutely neuroscience, but I'll be trying to catch everybody. So we're not going to go that deep. Think about what your mind has to go through in a day just to figure it out. And you're going to miss the mark because remember, the goalposts going to keep moving. Why? Because people change over time. Right? It's that one little simple fact. What if that person starts changing? That means the whole blueprint that you made of trying to fit, now you got to remake a new one. Right? What if somebody who wasn't stressed becomes stressed? What if somebody that wasn't depressed becomes depressed? What if they have some kind of anxiety that develops over time? Now you gotta ball that map up and remake a whole new one and cater to those things too. Now we're not just talking about everyday anger. Now we're talking about depression, stress, anxiety, some mental health stuff going. Now you got to figure out which one it is. You therapist, you're gonna have to figure it out. How? You're panicking. The fear is big. You don't even realize it comes from childhood. You're just perpetually a person that knows how to save yourself by emotionally monitoring people. And again, it's not just one or two instances, it's all the time. Your panic mode is on a hair trigger. Panic, distress, worry. Think about this. You know how stress affects the human body? Imagine you having that every day. The not knowing, the unknown. You don't have control, so you feel the need to control. You're not an evil monster, but you're definitely controlling. Right? So now the lines between hero and villain are blurred. You're going to feel like the hero, but you're trying to change a whole nother human being for yourself, not for them. Now, who's the manipulator? Y'all know these words. Y'all hate him manipulated me. Oh, they trying to control me. Now who's the controlling person? It look different now, don't it? Who's the manipulator now? And a lot of times our partners, like I said earlier, you've done it so much, they know what you're doing. They'll even tell you. They'll say, can you please stop trying to manage my emotions? Like what? Like I'm good. Just stop. Can you please stop? But you can't. So what you're going to do is you're going to stop, but your whole nervous system is going to go crazy. I stopped, but what if, right? This is, I always talk about what if as a trauma response. Like your brain is, well, what if they're not happy for too long? Like, what if the anger comes back? What if they dismiss me again? Because now I feel rejected. Oh my God, I have more than one wound. When they tell me to stop, I feel rejected. It's another the nervous system. Like, I'm emotionally monitoring now. I feel rejected. Ooh, don't have an abandonment wound too. Ooh, the abandonment wound had unstable childhood too. Remember, abandon, rejection, emotionally monitoring. Who do you become? And what are you gonna do about it? Do you even know it's a problem? Remember, subconscious. Do you even know it's a problem? Are you going to say, that's just who I am? I just want to keep my partner happy because I care about them so much. I want to make sure that they always happy. That's the lie you tell yourself. You out of control. You're out of control on your quest to have control, to feel safe. Remember what I always talk about, feeling safe does not always mean that it's healthy. Sometimes dysfunction masks itself as safety to you because of what you've been through in your past. You're going to age yourself about 15 years worrying about what they go. Sometimes it means you got to leave them. Ooh, wait, the plot thickens already? Sometimes people do things that make you feel like you have to emotionally monitor them when you really just need to leave. But guess what? Dun, dun, dun. You can't leave because you have an abandonment wound too. Damn it. I thought I was out. I got to stay now. Because if I leave, I'm going to be by myself. So let me put my emotional monitor brain hat back on and we gonna keep trying to figure out why they mad today. What is it now, honey? You know what the worst thing you could hear when you trying to monitor somebody's anger? If they say, don't worry about it, I'm fine. I don't know the reason why, so I can't figure out how to stop it. I, honey, why you sad? I'm good. Trauma response. What do I do now? All right, I'm gonna just be calm. I don't want to make them listen to what I'm saying, y'all. They said they were sad. You thought that they were sad. They told you wasn't no problem. So you're panicking on the inside. So you're going to detach from them temporarily so that you don't piss them off. Listen to my words. You are running from one emotion in hopes that it doesn't create another one and you are triggered by both. Y'all don't. Your brain is in overdrive. So now we got to think about this. Like, some of us will never know that this is what we're doing. Because emotional, I swear to y'all, I'm using these words on purpose. My emotional monitoring is my safety net. Here's another plot twist. You ready? A lot of people who emotionally monitor other people's emotions, they normally end up in relationships with people that have erratic emotions, so they'll have something to chase. That don't even make sense, Coach Derek. Why would they fall in love with somebody that's always angry all the time? Because it's familiar. It's familiar. So now the subconscious It's doing a lot. Subconscious is the childhood wounds are in there. You're emotionally monitoring. You're picking partners to be with that mirror what you've been through before, and it's not supposed to match because I'm running from that feeling, right? You're running to that feeling. It's weird how this works. You run to the feeling triggers you, and then it becomes a cycle. In relationship, and I talk about this when I talk about people shrinking themselves, relationship after relationship, you assume you're going to have to monitor them before you even know the behavior exists. Preemptive strike. So you already neurotic without even having the need to be yet. And even if you found the need to be, would you want to live like that forever? Some of you will feel like you don't have a choice. Because what you have to become when you're like this is a person that has to become used to being stressed out every day. Who wants to get used to that? Trauma. Right? Let me see. I normally don't do this, but I'm gonna look at these. So let me read this real quick, right? So it says signs of emotional monitoring, right? Constantly asking, "Are you okay?" or seeking reassurance, right? Anxious attachment. See how it all fits together. Y'all ever been that person or had somebody that always asks, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you good? Are you good?" And you be like, "Yeah, I'm good. Damn it. Stop asking. Yeah, I'm good." Are you sure? I feel like you're not okay. Can you just tell me like what's wrong? Or Sid, can I just finish watching TV? Okay, I'm gonna let you watch TV, but I feel like are you sure you're okay? Some of y'all getting triggered right now. Another sign is that you feel personally responsible for others' moods or their happiness. Think about that. We're supposed to have happiness within us, but this type of person feels responsible for all of your happiness, not just a little bit of it, right? Feeling drained or tense in relationships because you have to keep doing this emotional labor. That's really what it is. Emotional labor, right? Labor sound like a job, right? Suppressing your own feelings to keep the peace. I'm breathing for y'all, not me. Well, yeah, maybe a little bit me. Ooh. Who keeping the peace by monitoring somebody else's emotions? It's not about how I feel. It's about making sure you're happy to keep the peace. But is it really peace? In your body, is it peaceful there? Or is it chaotic? Your mind definitely ain't at peace. Quiet on the outside don't mean quiet on the inside. Scanning rooms for emotional tension. I ain't got to read this. Difficulty setting boundaries. You can't say no because you're a people pleaser. You got to make sure they're okay by any means necessary. Even if it crushes you, it's about them first. If I control them, I control my wounds. Yeah, y'all can take that quote. It's okay. I just made it up. So it says common causes: growing up with unpredictable, inconsistent, or angry parents. Some of our parents was all of them, right? Experiencing trauma or feeling unsafe in childhood, developing a survival mechanism to predict behavior. So remember what I said earlier. You got to be a whole psychic friend to predict behavior. And remember, the goalpost moves. So your prediction is going to be off a lot. It's going to mess with your head. It's going to mess with your head when that goalpost moving. You think you figured it out? You think you figured it out. But then they surprise you. People do this, like I was saying earlier. You be cooking meals and you got a partner that's a picky eater. It's going to drive you nuts. You live with a picky eater, your brain going to explode because you ain't going to never get it right. And then you're going to get the perception that they're upset because they didn't want what you had. And then you internalize it. Yeah, remember we did the show on cognitive distortions. Your brain makes it true even without evidence that it is. It's your trauma speaking. That little voice in your head is lying to you. You're going to listen to it anyway because you need to protect yourself. You know why I keep scrunching up my face like this? People that's on the audio. I'm scrunching up my face because my brain hurt just talking about it. That's a lot. I've been that person. Analyzing, micromanaging, trying to figure it out before it happened. For me, not them. For my comfort, not theirs. I'm not even considering them at this point, even though on its face it looks like I'm doing things to make them happy. It's not for them. Their happiness is a byproduct of me keeping myself safe. I hope y'all caught that. You may be happy by what I do for you, but it's a byproduct of me choosing me first, not you, subconsciously. I'm choosing me first. My happiness over yours. That means I got to do whatever it takes to make sure you're not angry, sad, upset. I got to do that for me. Ooh, you manipulator, you. Didn't think that was the word to put on you, did it? You didn't think that, did you? You're a whole manipulating, controlling partner. It don't even fit. I'm a good person. I'm not mean. Controlling me? Never. It's like I said earlier, we take controlling and manipulation, we inherently put it on a person as being evil. But there's a lot of gray area here. So we are going to take this jumbo jet and we're going to start descent. We're going to start the descent. Think about this. So we're going to talk about like how can someone work on healing this? Because that's really what it is. Managing, regulating, healing in order for you to not show up like this, because it will torment you in every relationship that you get into. This is what we do, y'all. A lot of us on here have done this. You'll do this with a relationship. It doesn't mean that the other person is or isn't for you, but the relationship ends. And then what we'll do is we'll find a person that's the opposite of this one so we can get better results, but we're still an emotional monitor. It's going to keep following you like a ghost. It's not going anywhere. It won't change until you do. So now, awareness that it even exists is step one. Just like any other healing, sobriety, if you will. The first step is admitting you have a problem. Then once you admit you have the problem, then we got to figure out where it comes from so that we can solve it from the root. We got to solve it from the root. We can't put Band-Aids on it. We got to solve it from the root. We got to understand where it comes from. So you're probably going to need to get help to do this, putting these puzzle pieces together, because you're still in your own head. It's still in there, ruminating, trying to figure it out. You do it with your boss. You do it with your parents. You do it with your kids. Wait, did he say kids? Yeah. Kids got about 5 PlayStations in the house because you can't tell them no. Because if they're sad, it's going to trigger you again. Y'all ain't hear me. Y'all ain't hear me. We be getting stuff our kids ain't even asked for. Ooh, I know, it's Christmas time. Sorry. Not sorry. We be getting stuff they ain't even asked for. For us, not them. We doing it for us. You got to ask yourself why. You will go in debt for something they didn't even ask for. So I'm reading these little bullet points, and they're not going to do justice for what I just did. Yeah, the bullet points kind of suck. I wanted to land where it needed to land. I was trying to, I always look at my bullet points and then I always throw it to the side because real life is on our necks right now. Survival mode, trying to figure it out, trauma and all of that. I always like to come from a place of how it feels inside. I want to give you a street level view of what this looks like and feels like so you can absorb it. And hopefully a lot of you will take this stance to try to get help with this, right? These are some of the things that I help you with: healing, pattern recognition, self-awareness, shadow work. We got to get our fingernails dirty. You can clean them out later. We're going to have to dig in the dirt to plant the seed for you to grow into something even better than what you are now, because you're going to be self-aware. You're going to learn how to regulate yourself so that you don't show up like this. You know, you'll run a whole partner away doing this emotional monitoring. You're doing too much. Oh, I still got some of it in me, but I have to learn how to control it because it's off-putting to a partner. You're doing too damn much. Y'all know, and this ain't even like ancient history. This is like recent. Like I go crazy trying to people please. I have to catch myself sometimes. But I have these, I know I'm gonna tell y'all too much, but I don't care. Somebody need to hear this. I will project onto you being unhappy about something that has nothing to do with me. Right? You could have a broken lamp. I'm going to perceive that lamp that just broke that you was using is going to make you unhappy. I'm projecting that unhappiness would eventually spill over onto me. So I am going to bust my ass, YouTube, Google, go to Home Depot to try to fix that lamp so that you can then be happy, so that it then does not spill over onto me. Like an obsessed fiend, I will figure it out. And it has nothing to do with me. But it is about me because I'm trying to fix things for my happiness. You being happy about the lamp being fixed is secondary. But in my mind, y'all thought this show was about other people. Shame on you. Y'all wonder why I don't need the bullet points? But the reason why it hits home for a lot of you is because we're all more alike than we are different. We go through similar things. We just don't see other people going through it. But you too can learn how to be better and how to regulate it so that it doesn't sit on you. That backpack ain't so heavy. It's still on though, but you can move around better. Emphasis on the move around better. Not perfect, better. Oh, the silence for y'all, not me. Breathe. Right? We can be better. So anybody that's listening to this, replay, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, you need help with that. Go to sitdownandheal.com or message me on the social media platform that you found me on and just say these words: Coach, I need help. And I will figure out the rest for you. It's that simple. Then we can start this healing journey. I can tell you how to start it. I can tell you where to start, right? Everybody's journey is different, but the foundational principles is what you get from me. Then you splinter off into what makes you different. And then I'm still there with you saying, this makes sense. Keep going. This don't make sense based on what we learned. Go back. I have several ways for you to get coaching. It's not just one-on-ones. I have several ways, but you're going to have to go to the site to figure out what those ways are. And then you could either A, figure out which one you need yourself, or B, contact me and I'll give you a little. I'm very fast, so we don't need to even get on a phone call for me to know what you need. I'm going to ask you a few questions and we're going to get you where you need to go. The reason why I can do that without hearing all your long story for 16 hours is because I'm a root cause coach. That means I'll get a little bit of information, but the goal is always going to be to reboot you from the root. So we don't need all the minutia in between. We resetting you from the childhood wounds, from the attachment theory, from the pattern recognition. We'll eventually get back up. But you know what happens? Once you start doing all the work, all of the stuff you was worried about goes away. Problem solved. We don't need to talk on the phone for 90 hours about your ex. We're gonna reboot. That's what I do here. So those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I welcome you. Keep coming back. If you need to find me again, the website is www.sitdownandheal.com. I do pop-up shows on TikTok all the time, but Tuesday nights is where you will find me every week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. And we just gonna keep coming back until y'all get it. And maybe, just maybe, you'll come back enough times and you'll love it here enough to want to sit down and heal. I'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Have a good night.